To his man. He is, of course, campaign strategist for the former Prime Minister and Foreign Minister. Bruce, I have to say that the talk that Kevin is giving right now sounds like the one he did at Government House when Gillard, you know, when Julia pulled a coup on him in 2010. His list of the pride that he takes in all these different accomplishments. Now, Bruce, you know your man better than anybody else. I won't pretend to be some smart TV host that knows everything. Here, you know him. He is not known for biting his tongue. He is not going to sit on that back bench quietly and observe and be polite to everybody around him. If he calls a press conference at any time, everybody's going to be there. He can campaign on the sidelines while being on the back bench. What is Kevin Rudd going to do, Bruce?
Well, I can't tell you precisely, Bernie, but what he has done, and I think we'll do further in this in his presentation, is commit to the Prime Minister. I think it's pretty clear from reports that I've had that inside the caucus room there was a very strong endorsement of her from him to say, let's get behind him, behind her. But it is going to be an awkward time, I suspect, for everybody, because he can't leave the Parliament. If he were to leave the Parliament, the Labor Party would lose its majority, as you know, and that would mean a change of government, and he's not going to do that. I think he will wait and see how things progress inside the government. I don't think he will do anything to rock the boat. Having said that, I think the big challenge for Julia Gillard is to get her popularity above the high 20s and low 30s. To win the next election, we really have to have polling in the 40s.
Bruce, something tells me that I'm going to be talking to you again very soon, and we'll be talking to your man Kevin Rudd very soon. Hey, we really appreciate your time today, okay? Much obliged on our part. We look forward to talking to you again. All right, thank you, Bruce Hawker, campaigns and communications and campaign strategist for Don't Count Him Out Now, or Don't Count Him Out Yet, Kevin Rudd. We'll be back with more of The Call. Things there in, I believe, in Canberra, and we're fine-tuning the line right now and awaiting the former Foreign Minister and former Prime Minister. But ahead of that, let's bring in Bruce Hawker into the conversation. He is Managing Director at Campaigns and Communications. He's also a very, very strong Kevin Rudd supporter, his campaign strategist, and I'm sure, Bruce, that this Monday proved to be a very, very disappointing installment in your more than three-decade career and your support of Mr. Rudd. Tell me what's on the tip of your tongue and your top of your mind.
Well, I am disappointed, Bernie, because Kevin Rudd is overwhelmingly the most popular politician in the Labor Party and in the country, in fact. An opinion poll that came out today had him well ahead by about 17 points, I think, of Julia Gillard as preferred Prime Minister, and a similar number ahead of the opposition leader, Tony Abbott. But what we have now is this curious dislocation between what's happening inside the Labor Party caucus and public opinion. So, could I put it this way, we won the public relations battle. We got out there and the public responded incredibly well towards him, but it just wasn't reflected in the party room, which was, I think, very surprising.
Well, it may be not so surprising, Bruce. I mean, it was clear. I mean, Kevin Rudd is liked. There's no question about it. I mean, if a poll were held today, he'd beat Abbott, and he'd beat Gillard. The problem is politics in a parliamentary system doesn't work that way. You know, it's easy for people to say, we like so-and-so, we like so-and-so, but they're not the ones who have to work in Parliament, in an administration. And it's well documented, including on YouTube, that Kevin has a temper. I mean, he's not the easiest, person to get along with. And if you can't work with somebody, you can't fine-tune the ALP, and you're going to lose to the opposition come 2013.
Well, just to answer a few of those points, Kevin Rudd did have a bit of a temper, probably still does, but he wouldn't be the first political leader who's done that. He doesn't suffer fools gladly, and I think a few fools felt the sting of his tongue from time to time. However, on the day that he was deposed as Prime Minister, the party's vote the government's vote was 52% in public opinion polls. It's now around 34 today. That means if we'd gone to the election with Kevin Rudd at the helm on 52%, we would have won 18 extra seats. Today we look we're looking at political oblivion. That's the difference.
Well, obviously, when you have an unpopular prime minister reaffirmed by the kind of vote that we saw today, they have some, you know, the MPs are thinking something, right, Bruce? They're thinking, okay, we got to whip, we got to get her popularity rating up. We have to fine-tune this leader. Gillard owes a lot to these MPs right now, and they're going to mold her rather than her molding their way of thinking. I mean, the tide has shifted with this vote today, clearly.
Well, it has, and I think she's going to have to listen very closely to sharp political minds inside the government, because everyone is going to try to pull behind Julia. You know, we face the prospect of a devastating loss under her leadership if we don't. Right now, we'd lose about 30 seats, as I think I said before. So she will listen to those people. She'll probably have something of a reshuffle inside her cabinet, and she will then...
Bruce, let me interrupt, because your man is speaking right now. Let's go straight over and tune into Kevin Rudd and see what he's got to say. Let's go.
As the Prime Minister of Australia. And I will do so